Let's now look through the complete situation. The leading car, not number 4, but another Falcon. Yes, it's the Alan Moffat Jackie X car. Jackie X is at the wheel at the moment, having taken over about 20 minutes ago, leading from the similar Team Falcon of Colin Bond and Alan Hamilton. The first of the Works Tiranas is in 3rd place, the Harvey Negus car, and the O'Brien Harrop vehicle in 4th. So it's a Falcon Tirana situation. Kevin Bartlett and Bobby Forbes are running 6th in the Tirana, just in front of Bob Morris and John Fitzpatrick, last year's winners in the Ron Hodgson Channel 7 car, which was slowed very early in the race by a flat tyre, one of many to be affected by punctures. Peter Brock led early and then had troubles with handling, tyre problems and so on. In 9th place, the first of the 3-litre cars, Beau Seaton, just ahead of Dixon Gibson in the Falcon, Alan Grice and Gardner in the Tirana, who were doing very well early on, in fact were leading, back as you can see. And we have
Johnny Harvey pulling out of the race.
Yes, we have the going to the pits, something of a disaster for the Holden dealer team. Johnny Harvey, running in 3rd place, has just taken, or not John Harvey, but Wayne Negus, who's taken over from John Harvey, has just taken the car to the back of the pit. So that's a real blow for the Holden dealer team. You're seeing the complete IBM run out on the field.
You can see the car that's disappearing behind the transporters, and what a blow for Harry Firth, who not only planned for a win, and there he is, a very, very disappointed man, I would think, but doesn't give too much away, keeps mostly to himself. And perhaps Kerry Lucken shortly, who is in the pits, can have a talk with Harry Firth, and we can get the reason why the Harvey Negus car is out of competition. Meanwhile, we're following Jack Brabham down Conrod Straight as the printout continues, courtesy of IBM, with the rundown so far in the Hardy for Rodo 1000. Okay, here's the John Fitzpatrick going up the top of the mountain, and boy, I would think he has some big problems here. We have the tender vehicle, as you can see, on that side of the circuit. And John Fitzpatrick slowing up, I think will desperately be trying to get back to the pit area. He's laying a smoke screen across the top, and Fitzpatrick was in, well, similar circumstances last year, perhaps not as much smoke. I think almost blowing some back on the back tyres, and was a little skatey coming around that corner. And I think a very, very frustrated John Fitzpatrick, and even more frustrated Bob Morris, waiting in the pits as the number 7 car, driven by the Englishman John Fitzpatrick, the co-winner of last year's Hardy for Rodo 1000, heads across the top of the mountain. Some people, the Tirana people, would not be very, very pleased to see that. The Ford fans think it's delightful on top of the mountain, and it's slowing rather dramatically, and I think Fitzpatrick will probably let it coast out of gear and try and get down. We might have a look at the Bob Morris John Fitzpatrick car shortly. Car number 7, the Tirana Morris Fitzpatrick car, completed 109 laps. It was running in 5th position, and of course it started in position number 7. And there we have Bob Morris waiting very, very anxiously in the pits with Colin Weir, who was to have been chief mechanic for the Ron Hodgson Dolomite entries. Evan Green is already there, and we'll be speaking to Bob Morris about the situation as we await the car coming down the mountain. Over to you, Evan.
Do you know what the trouble is, Bob?
I beg your pardon?
Do you know what the trouble is?
No, I was just looking at the monitor. There's a lot of smoke coming out of it, so we'll wait till we get it in and see what happens. But I believe that it blew the muffler apart coming along here, so maybe the muffler's damaged something underneath the car. But there's certainly a lot of smoke coming from it.
It looks like you're in trauma for 2 years in a row. It reminds me of the last laps last year.
It's different being in trauma when you're in the lead, though, and only a couple of laps to go. We're sort of in a good position, but we're not leading, and I really can't see us winning from 2 laps down. But we've definitely run a strong place.
Ron Hodgson right behind you, Ron.
Yes, Evan.
Maybe it's not your day.
Oh, look, it's not over yet. I'm just having a look at a slight problem. Might look bad on television, but I think it might look good. When we get in, it might be something very minor. We've had bad days, we've had good days, you know that.
Well, as we can see, the car has been elevated. But I think John Fitzpatrick summed it up when he said the engine started to run rather roughly. I don't think the muffler coming off the car would have played up with the engine running roughly.
There is oil pouring from beneath the car, Mike. Right in the central part of the rear of the motor, oil is coming out.
I notice down at the end of Conrod Straight where I think we have someone who has gone off down there. Officials running wildly down there.
Yes, I can see the car, in fact. It's number 13, Mr. Jim Richards' car. Gone backwards on the sand, may just have touched the fence or might have been bulked.
Well, of course, the corner there was altered to...
Sorry. Yeah, it's Dick Johnson and Vern Shupin. I'm getting my overseas drivers mixed up. Not from New Zealand, he's all the way from South Australia. Vern Shupin and Dick Johnson from Queensland.
Well, the sand trap there, of course, has been a lifesaver. So far as motorcycle riders are concerned and cars are concerned, it's going to save a lot of equipment because it's saving the drivers, if they do have brake fade, from collecting the Armco railing there. They've got a lot of sand there, and as you can see, the sand trap has certainly worked in this year's Hardy-Ferodo race. It's probably saved the Johnson-Shupin car from either going off head first into the Armco or at worst, tail first. And now Katayama, just look at this. Goodness gracious me, Katayama flipping the car side over side at the end of Conrod Straight. So he's had a big problem, a very, very dramatic end to the race for little Japanese driver Katayama. We've had two cars off there in the last two laps, the Dick Johnson, Vern Shupin Ford. And now Katayama, just look at this. That looks bad at home as we watch the replay, very dramatically caught on our video disc. Can you imagine what would have happened if the sand trap hadn't been there? He would have gone probably head first. He's a very lucky man to be able to walk straight back to the pits.
He certainly is, Mike. That's a most spectacular accident. We've been luckily fairly accident-free.
Bring him up. Yeah. Okay.
Over that way, and to get out of that, you're pretty lucky, and we're very, very pleased for the crews and the way things ought to be. And Alan Grice now running down to see how things are. But gee, that is good. He might have tripped himself as he tried to decide between the escape road and the sand trap.
Very dramatic exit from the Hardy-Ferodo 1000 by Katayama, and there it sits very, very sadly, buried in the sand trap at the end of Conrod Straight. Very, very dramatic exit indeed. But fortunately, the little Japanese driver, Katayama, was able to walk away and was quite okay.